Hey, thanks for slithering in. I am Symtherin. Welcome back to my channel and to another speed build in The Sims 4. Today we are giving the new playground lot type a go. This came with a base game update. Actually, it came with like the big base game update right before the Adventure Awaits expansion pack gets released, which is coming out pretty soon, but we'll talk about that later. And I just had to build a little playground. I've done at least one playground in the past before. It's more like a park, actually, because we didn't really have playgrounds. So there's that. Also, I want to put a disclaimer up here right now that in my walkthrough later at the end of this video, I do mention complaining about how we need like 6 different playground equipments to like meet all the requirements for a playground lot. That has since been changed and updated, or it will be soon, down to 3. It's 6 now, but down to 3 in a little bit. At least I think that's happening right before Adventure Awaits does come out. That is coming out really soon, very early in October. So if you are grabbing that pack or pre-ordering, make sure you consider using my creator code Symtherin. Just type it in at checkout. I will get 5% of the sale. It's a little less money EA gets, and I'll get a little more, I guess. It directly supports the channel, but if you don't use mine, please consider using anyone else's, just because it just supports all of us creators. I want to take a second and talk about the raised platform I use for the swing sets. This was actually inspired by the childhood playground or park that I actually grew up in, that I literally spent almost like literally 90% of my childhood at. And it had a lot more swing sets, so this is a very like minuscule version, but it had like a little raised platform with some wood chips, and it was super fun. I have very fond memories of swinging there, going super high and like jumping off. Probably not the best idea, but you know, when you're children, and you're gonna do crazy stuff like that. I am building this playground in Willow Creek in one of the cul-de-sac neighborhoods where you may often find a lot of starter homes, but also right next to this park is that tree that can take you to Sylvan Glade as well. So kind of a little reference point for you there. Honestly, I just always felt like this was a good spot for a little neighborhood park. I've been to places or little neighborhoods where they have like little tiny small parks for the children, and I always thought those were like really cute. So I think this is a good way to, if you have like families living on this street, all those kids could just come over to the playground every day after school and whatnot. And I always thought this like was a weird spot for a house anyway, because there's always people walking around. There's a fishing spot back there, and not that that's weird, because I guess that kind of happens in certain places, but I don't know. I just feel like this spot was screaming for a playground. So here we are. I am currently trying to get all of the requirements set down. So we currently have 6 little playground items here. I was trying to find a way to kind of make this pirate ship somewhat interesting, but I end up just using some terrain paint and like getting some wood chips under it. But overall, we have 2 swing sets, 1 monkey bars, we have the pirate ship, and then we have 2 toddler slides. So that makes 6. Also, we get a couple of, well, actually, it ends up being 1 patio table, which will be behind the pirate ship. And then I used a new outhouse that we got in the last rewards event playthrough thing. The one that launched right before Enchanted by Nature. So if you don't have it, you can probably put some other kind of bathroom thing in here and just move things around. At this point, I think everything's pretty much laid out the way I want it to, except for the monkey bars. I think I moved that around. So we're starting with some terrain paint, and then the fun part will begin where we start landscaping and adding all of those cool details. I use a lot of debug fencing around, especially, you can see them right here behind the swing sets. That is a debug fence that I actually love to use, especially for community lots like this. That is actually a base game one, and you have to kind of scroll a bit through that debug menu to kind of get there. It's near the bottom. For the longest time, it was kind of hidden for me. Well, not really hidden, but I had never seen it before. And then I think I did a build in Delso Valley where I was looking around the world and I was like, what are those fences? And I went through the Get Famous debug menu and I couldn't find it for the life of me. I just couldn't until I finally was like, I'm going to sit here and I'm going to find these fences. And I found them in base game. So love me a good debug item. You guys already know that. And now we are just going to get some landscaping. So I'm picking out some trees that I feel like could blend in well with this world. I thought about using concrete terrain paint, and I do end up using that, but just less than what I originally planned. So we just used a sidewalk slab, which is also base game. This, I didn't really limit my pack usage for this, but I don't think I used too many. So hopefully you are able to kind of get that off the gallery. By the way, it's already on the gallery at this point. I always put these up pretty early. As you can probably see, I am desperately trying to make this outhouse look a little more cute and maybe intentional to the park. So we got some greenery around it, kind of growing up it a little bit. So I don't know. I thought it would have been kind of weird if the outhouse was like facing the pirate ship. So it's kind of facing the back. I don't know. It just worked. We just needed some kind of toilet out here. Okay. So I'm pulling out this debug fence again, but this one actually has a shorter version. So I was able to use that in the front here so that it doesn't obstruct our gallery image, even though I don't even know what that looks like. I can't even remember at this point. I feel like my mind is swimming. There's just so much Sims content recently, and I'm trying to currently brainstorm some ideas for builds for adventures await. So let me know in the comments below if you have any suggestions of what you want to see. I know for sure I'm doing a starter home at some point, and that might even be one of my first builds. I haven't decided yet. We'll see. I don't know. So, and I know I want to do a few different like venues and things, but I really want to get the pack in my hands to kind of see the cross gameplay compatibility so I can kind of come up with something really creative. So if you have any ideas of what you want to see, let me know down below and I will add it to my little list. We're going to add some more fencing along like the inside of the sidewalk to kind of give this more of a flow. So I really actually enjoyed how the flow came about in here, and now I wanted to get some kind of lighting in here too. But then when I changed the daytime or the sunlight, whatever, the time of day to nighttime, I was like, oh my God, those don't even light up. So what I did was I got the handy dandy saucer light and I used Alt and 9 to raise that up right into the actual little street light so that it'll look like it's emitting some sort of light at night and you can see. So this is very helpful when your Sims are, you know, playing and the sun goes down so you can actually see. Maybe you can even use that as an indicator for it's time to come home, kids, kind of like what some of our parents maybe have done. Once the street lights come on, that means it's time to go home. And I swear I lived by that as a child, and I know my parents lived like that as a child too. So I think that's fairly realistic for some gameplay. I think that would be fun. Overall, I really do like this new playground lot type. I think it's going to come in handy when you don't necessarily want to use the park lot trait or lot type. And that's very broad, I guess, but I really like that we now have even more things and features for our younger Sims. Things like this really gives me the itch to do some more gameplay. And I just wish I had more time to really sit down and do gameplay, even if it was like personal gameplay. I know sometimes I record some gameplay and sometimes those kind of go off the rails. By off the rails, I mean I just kind of stopped doing it. Like my Rags to Fairies recently was kind of stopped. And then I had one when Businesses and Hobbies came out. I did like one episode, which I really did enjoy. But Sometimes you just have to pick and choose some of the projects and payoffs and things like that. So that's where we're at. But if you want to see more of that, please let me know, because I would. It's just I need to figure out my new schedule and stuff, especially with the move. I talked about all of that in my last video, so we're not going to get all rambly about it anymore. We're going to add a few more bushes, but then we are going to hop into lift mode so that you can see this park or playground in full action. Here we are at Crick Cabana Playground or Park, whatever I am going to call it. But look at all of the kids here. We've got kids on the monkey bars. Let's have Atlas maybe come and... Oh, might help if I click on him. We can play pirate. Let's do play pirate together. Actually, that would be cute. Everyone has bags on their heads, and I'm sorry about that. That's kind of weird, but we're kind of roll with it. So look at the kids on the monkey bars. That's so cute. We've got pirate playing happening here. We've got our parents watching. This is so cute. That is exactly what I wanted. It's just parents sitting around talking while all the kids are playing. Over here, well, now not too many kids are swinging, so that's not as fun. Let's ask to be pushed on the swing. That might be cute to see. My toddler's needs, oh my god, this is so bad. I thought I had fixed all of their needs before we got here, but I guess I'm just silly like that. But here, Orion's gonna go and test this slide here. You might recognize this family. They're the Michelson family. I use them a lot to play test family builds. They are the family that came with growing together. But look at that, we're going down the slide. Our little stinky poo. Wee! That's so cute. This is the terrain paint where we can also build sand sculptures and play in the sand too, so it's also a little sandbox. It looks like she's gonna have to go all the way around to get to this slide here, so we'll let her waddle her way that way. But look at this with Dad pushing Atlas on the swings. That is so cute. I really like this spot for a little tiny playground. Imagine all of these lots here are filled with like little family homes and things. I think that would be really cute. And then this is just the little neighborhood park at the end of the street. Look, even Mom's going to play on the swings here. I love it. I love that it's on a raised platform. This is really cute, so I am going to get it up on the gallery. All right, we are all set. I named it the Cabana Playground, kept it kind of simple, but here it is. I think we do use a few packs. Let's look at that real quick. Okay, not too many packs. Really surprise, surprise, but we do have Enchanted by Nature, Love Struck, Growing Together, Eco Lifestyle, Get Together, and Toddler Stuff. So you'll need all of those packs, or you might be able to find some base game-esque items, except for maybe the swing set, which kind of sucks. But if you have a different packs with swing sets, then you can swap them out. I think they're all the same size. But yeah, please let me know what you guys think about this little playground. I had an absolute blast building it, and I really like the new playground trait. I do wish that we didn't have to fill as many requirements for playground items, but it makes sense because it's a playground, right? So pros and cons, I just wish we maybe could get some more playground items in the base game. Anywho, thanks again for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, do all the things. I'll be posting some builds with adventure awaits pretty soon, as long as I can get them out in a timely manner, but I do get early access, so keep an eye out for that. And thank you again to all of my channel members. You guys rock so much. I will talk to you all in the next one. Bye!